It is late night.
Recording is on.
Hey everybody! It is late night one day in March. We are at I think the beginning of COVID-19 2020. And if you are seeing this, I'm wondering if this is recording audio or video together, but we are trying out a new video conferencing platform for us, at least. It looks like it's been around. DJ Chuang found it. It's called jitsi.org, jitsi.org. It is one of these platforms that we've been testing out all day. We've been looking at all these other video platforms outside of Zoom that allow multi-user functionality, as well as what's most important is no account setup required and no software download, so that you can open it up to people or just start connections efficiently. And so we've been testing a couple out today. We started with Zoom. We went to talky.io, talky.io, which I actually like pretty better than this one. And then we went from that to, what was the one that we just had prior, DJ? The one prior to Jitsi. There was some other one that we tried before Jitsi. It was, I'm trying to remember right now, 8x8. 8x8, and that was, that one was too complicated. It actually died. And we tried another called Sylaps, sylaps.com. That has some promise also. We're joined by our friend, I was just going to say on the other coast, but DJ's on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, and we got Jen Miles from the Pacific Northwest.
Hey guys, how are you?
Three corners of the universe. We need a fourth person down southeast somewhere to join us today. So we're just testing it out. Jen, tell us your experience of logging on. We gave you the link. You found the link in the co-working thread, and how's the onboarding?
Yeah, it was actually really straightforward. It brought me to the login page, had me sign in with Facebook or Gmail, and then brought me right to the chat. So it was really easy.
I'm wondering, I'm going to switch. There's a toggle, the tile view, and I guess it's active speaker view or something. I'm wondering if the recording is going to change that as well. Follow along. It gives us all these nerdy stats for each person, which is really interesting. Bit rate, packet loss, resolution, frame rates, E2E RTT. I don't even know what that is. It seems like we can kick people out. You can mute everyone else, send people private messages. Ooh, you can even change the volume of each person, which is like, that is new. I've never seen that on any other platform. So
you're on a really low resolution.
I am?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, resolution 640 by 360 for me.
Yeah, I'm 1280 by 720.
Here, there is a button for manage. Look, my video quality is set for high definition, and yet you're getting low definition.
Yeah.
That is quite interesting. You can share screens, raise your hands. There's open and closing a chat. You can start the camera, mute the camera. Same with audio. DJ's trying it both out, I think, on a tablet as well as desktop, right, DJ?
Yep, this is the tablet, and then this is the desktop. So you're getting two angles. I've turned off the audio on the desktop so that there's no feedback and stuff. Really? Just like those creatures that go to camera.
Yes. So Jennifer Miles, what is your platform of choice to do video conferencing in groups these days?
I normally use Zoom.
You do?
Yep.
What's interesting is Zoom has become the unknown to universally known in the last few weeks. And yet somehow everyone has found it, right? Performance has been decent, although my cloud recording from 2 days ago, almost 3 days now, is still stuck in the cloud. They have not processed it. They've held it hostage. I cannot download it. And so I like the fact that Jitsi, we're recording this on Jitsi. It opened up a Dropbox API, and hopefully this will immediately process and drop it into my Dropbox and not hold it hostage like Zoom is doing right now.
Well, their queue is so overloaded because when I recorded a podcast on last Friday, it usually took an hour, and then that time it took like 7 hours.
Well, here I'm 48 hours plus right now. So, however, the Zoom status page doesn't make any notation of that if there's a problem with their cloud recording, but their customer service says it's a known issue.
Yeah, I normally record locally.
Yes, I usually do record locally. DJ was the one who actually convinced me to go to cloud recordings because DJ is a man of the cloud. And I followed suit. This actually was the first time I went to the cloud, but it just didn't work out. Or it is working just at a slower rate. So, Jennifer, what is the second backup platform, or have you tried any others?
Yeah, I use 3 regularly. Zoom is my number 1, just because they have breakout rooms and one-on-one. 2 is Google Meet for me.
Ooh.
And then 3 is Ring Central.
Ring Central.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Zoom and Ring Central are the same.
Yeah, but they're a little bit different in how their software works.
Okay.
One doesn't require a download while the other one does.
Ring Central requires a download?
Ring Central doesn't require a download.
Actually, Zoom has a web-based version also, just not as obvious.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to try Ring Central next. So let's go over some tips. What is the top 3 tips that you have for people using Zoom and video conferencing? I'll lead. I think I have the trump card, as they say. Have you guys heard of the app called Crisp with a K? KRISP. It's an amazing app. It actually is Mac-based, but it has an iOS app. I believe an Android app is here or coming. But basically, it is a noise cancellation app. And not the way you think it is. It's the other way. Well, it does both. So, for instance, my AirPods Pro, when I put it in, does noise canceling so that my current environment into my ears gets canceling, right? But the stuff that goes to the mic to the other side doesn't. So if I'm sitting in Starbucks or I'm working from home and everybody's loud, kids and family, etc., it does not get canceled on the iPad, on iPod Pros, right? However, Crisp allows you to do canceling on both the inbound audio as well as the outbound audio. And the outbound audio is what's important. So I will be able to sit in a Panera Bread where they typically have the music really, really loud and people are talking around you, and all that noise is canceled. It's muffled. And so it is a Mac app. I love that app. In fact, I think they just changed it so that everyone gets something like 120 minutes a week, 2 hours of free noise cancellation services through the app on the iOS, a week free. I don't know what it is on the desktop. I think I have unlimited on the desktop.
What's it called again?
Crisp with a K. KRISP app. Crisp. Crisp. The other one, if you don't have that on the Mac, I love my Shush app. Shush, as in SHUSH. And I don't understand why they don't have headphones like this. I think I should build headphones and do it on a Kickstarter. People would buy it, I think. But basically, it is a push-to-talk app. It turns your microphone into a push-to-talk function. So when you're when you're in Starbucks or Panera Bread or a loud place, and you're on a conference call, that mute button is hard to sometimes synchronize or get to quickly. But a push-to-talk, where you just have a single button, you just press and you talk, you let it go, and it mutes. You talk, you let it go, and it mutes. So the Shush app has been a game changer as well, especially in noisy environments. So what about you guys? Do you have any tips for video conferencing, remote work, video conferencing? Or pet peeves?
Well, since we're speaking to newbies, wear earbuds. Because a lot of times people come on without earbuds. They just use the default mic and the speakers, and you get a feedback loop thing.
Yes.
Happens to the best of us, but
Do you get a feedback loop when Kenny or I talk?
not currently.
I wonder
sometimes,
how it's set up. Yeah.
What happens? What also happens is people have multiple mics and multiple speakers now. You know, whether you're on Bluetooth or you're plugged in and then you're built in, and so you have to select the right one that you want to be using to prevent the feedback.
Yeah, I have to be really intentional when I log in, selecting between. I've got 2 mics, 2 sets of speakers, and 2 cameras. So being really intentional which one I want. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, so that's the first piece, because if your video and audio is not working, nothing else matters. And then people can talk about background noise and what you look like on the background, and then the protocol of who talks when is kind of the next piece.
Absolutely. So William Vanderbloemen has an actual article in Forbes magazine this week. And actually, let me change my microphone now that Jennifer, how's this? This is a different microphone for me. He has 8 cardinal rules of running a virtual meeting, and I'm wondering if you agree with all of them. Here's one of them. Here's one of the cardinal rules. Cardinal rule number 3 is insist on video. Can you imagine calling a face-to-face meeting and starting by putting a curtain down between you and everyone else? That's what you're doing if you just go audio. People used to say, I'm turning off the video so I don't use so much bandwidth, so the quality of the call is better. But nowadays, that's not true. Virtual meetings require vigilant and singular attention, almost more focused than if you were in person. And so they say, yes, if you're on video, you'll be watched. That's the idea. If you're worried that someone will see you pick your nose, remember, no one's supposed to pick your nose anymore. If you'd rather just have a phone call, you can so you can multitask during the call. It may be the time to reevaluate how necessary the meeting is. Do you agree with that? Do you think that we should all insist on video during our video calls?
That is absolutely my preference. Since I work completely remote, it provides the opportunity for my team to see my facial expressions, to see my body language, to kind of get an idea of what my personality is.
DJ, what about you? You got a counterpoint on that one?
If you're looking to have a productive meeting, then yes, I can make exceptions for people that are like newbies. I was on a small group last night, and we had a couple of newbies that could only dial in. So to accommodate and include them when we need to do that lowest common denominator. But if you need to have a productive meeting, then yes. And William Vanderbloemen, he's using video calls for team meetings and interviews. So he requires that video element.
Yeah, I mean, yes. And that's definitely for interviews, of course. Here's another cardinal rule. Don't hit mute. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. Far too many times I've said some of my smartest things when I unknowingly had the mute button on. I know it seems kind, but it's actually counterproductive. And so Brian Miles, who founded Belay, right, says that they found that if you hit mute in a small meeting, you'll actually keep real conversation from happening, even when you're trying not to be a nuisance. He says they have found that anything under a dozen means implementing their nobody gets to mute rule. So 12 and under no one gets to mute their microphone. That means everyone has to participate, and it also means nobody can be participating in other meetings like answering email when they should be giving undivided attention to the meeting. What do you think about that? The 12 and under no mute rule.
I disagree with it.
Disagree. Why?
Well, so if I'm working from home, especially if there are other people here, there is a very high likelihood of background noise. So my washer and dryer is right above me, so you can hear it when it's spinning. Like there's all sorts of other things. I think I should mute if I'm not talking. It's distracting otherwise. Who needs to hear the 1-year-old cry?
I'm going to jump ahead because I probably think that DJ agrees. But what about this one? So it's William is 0 for 2 with Jennifer Miles. Here's another one. Dedicated space. Too often, people assume working remotely means working from wherever and whenever you want. Not so. I found that virtual work requires more discipline. Find a dedicated space where you cannot be interrupted by children, spouses, or other distractions. I love your family, but I don't want to hear Netflix or Fortnite during our work. As much as I love dogs, I hate hearing a barking or, yes, even snoring dogs on calls. Intentionally create a workspace that is just that. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
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 What about you, DJ? Do you think you always need to take a call in a dedicated space? I don't know.
Do you think he can hear us?
I think DJ is testing something out. Oh, DJ just dropped the call. I will say it depends on who your participants are and what the expectations are, right? So many times the reason why you're having virtual meetings is not because it is your permanent working situation, but you are trying to include people in a group and not everyone is available in a stationary space, right? So sometimes you have to have a call in the airport or in the car or someplace.
I think that's a good distinction, is if your primary mode is meeting online, having an established place is important. If it is a one-off thing, doing it from someplace else periodically is acceptable.
Yeah. I'm wondering if, DJ, you heard the entire thing. We're trying to figure out if you agree or disagree with William Vanderbloemen on his cardinal rule of you must be in a dedicated space, sans snoring dogs, Fortnite, Netflix, other distractions. What do you say to that, DJ? Do you think it's okay to have video calls from other locations, say Chick-fil-A or other places?
Yeah, I disagree. So it's definitely not a cardinal rule. So he's a corporate business guy, and he oversimplifies for the C-level C-level Forbes audience there, and they can only read a few words on a PowerPoint slide, so they can't do nuanced thinking on this. And yeah, this is going on the record. So it has to be way more nuanced than just a cardinal rule. That's way too elevated. Muting is. I mean, even the president should have a mute button on his mic because he got caught saying some things that he thought was off the air. So to have that control is imperative.
And my dog has to be allowed in my office. There's a bed right there just for him.
So, William, if you're listening to this, in fact, what I might do is package up the link and send it your way, Mr. Vanderbloemen, and maybe we could have a rebuttal conversation. I'd love to see what your responses are for all these things. I must say there are some really good tips in here. Here's a good one that my wife actually I've never discussed this with my wife about working from home some days. She's noticed it, and she actually mentioned it as an example to the kids who are now home for the rest of the semester. And William's cardinal rule number 7 is work from home, but dress for work. Telecommuting is not a synonym for casual working, nor is it a permission slip to be working in your bathrobe. He tells a story in here that it sounds crazy, but I've actually had a couple I was interviewing answer the video call from their bed. Can you imagine interviewing for a job on a video call from your bed? They said they were reading, but he says he cannot unsee them. On a more serious note, he says that deep V-neck T-shirts, strapless tops can often make people look topless on screen. That's rarely a good look. And the bottom line is, if you want to be treated like a professional, follow your team's dress code, even when working from home, especially in sales and client-facing meetings. I think that's what he's talking about. So I'm at home all day, haven't stepped out all day today. And even here, I dressed up for work today.
Yeah, and food was brought to you.
You saw that today, right? We were on an epic, we've been on, it's 10:30 p.m. Eastern. I've been on since 11 o'clock on a live stream here. I actually had a video call before that as well. But yes, I'm dressed for work, and I think that's.
And when you switch mics, you sound so much better. The tone of your voice is coming through so nice.
As long as you sit close to it.
Yes, and that is part of his cardinal rule number 8. Small details can make a difference. He says little things make big improvements. Use headphones, but not your kids' Mickey Mouse ones. And then, when possible, use an external microphone if you have one. And he lists a bunch of other things. Things like don't spin in your rolling desk chair. It looks weird and sounds like an earthquake on the other end. He has a whole bunch of these things. Great article to consider. 8 cardinal rules of running a virtual meeting in the Forbes.com section. It's published on March 15th, if anyone is trying to look it up. And it already has 11,000 views in the last couple days. So congratulations to you, William. We'd love to have you on a conversation to talk about your cardinal rules. And
I want to know, does he have one on lighting?
On lighting, cardinal rule on lighting. He talks about Venetian blinds in his 8th one. In the 8th cardinal rule, he says, don't have Venetian blinds behind you because the light moving in and out of them wreaks havoc on the other person's display. And then he has another one talking about checking your angles. He said, check ahead of time, and I'll bet you'll be able to improve what the default settings look like by adjusting your angles and lighting. Don't forget what's in your background, etc. And he says, one friend told me about a meeting he and a coworker he had with a coworker where the coworker was in a hotel, and the background mistakenly included his wife getting in and out of the shower. Oh, not good. Yes, lighting is good. I actually just had a conversation with a coaching client this evening trying to get up and running on video. Jennifer, one of the things that I learned from the Sean Cannell what did he have? A video conference. He had a one-day conference in Las Vegas last year that I went to. And one of the big takeaways was a simple concept, AVL. In the AVL paradigm, audio, video, and lighting is actually the least important. Audio is most important. Just like DJ was talking about right now, that better audio makes it for a better experience in terms of consuming the content. So your audio can be super crisp, and your video and your lighting could be horrible, and people will still hang on to the content. But if your audio is horrible and your video is horrible and your lighting is good, people will not. So lighting is important, but your audio seems to be the most important of those 3, which is interesting, right? Because it is a visual medium. Videos are visual, and yet audio is the thing that you need to pay attention to.
Yeah, so that golden mic of yours is truly golden.
Well, and this is a USB mic, right? It's not going into another soundboard or switcher or amplifier or anything like. This is just a simple, what is it? It's not even an expensive one. It's the newer, let's see the model number, newer NW8000, which is it's not that expensive. It's probably even cheaper on Amazon today.
Sounds good.
And then the lighting kits, I was just talking to somebody. I was able to purchase a light kit for a church with, I believe, 3 lights for $160 on Amazon, and then I just saw a light kit, a 2-piece light kit for $53 on Amazon. One of those soft box light kits, right? One of those soft box light kits. So you can do a lot these days with not that much budget.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I use. I think mine was $59. The 3 lights for my light kit works great.
How about this, Jennifer? Is my video quality better now?
Go back again.
So this is my Logitech HD cam.
This is probably the same one I have at the top on the my monitor.
And then I'm going back to my MacBook Pro FaceTime HD camera.
I like the quality of the Logitech better. I like how you seem closer in the frame and are looking at me in your MacBook one. So there are pros.
I can change that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have the same one on top of my monitor, and I always feel like it's looking down at me.
Well, I've actually got mine on a little stand, which I bought, which it was $7.
Nice.
And then I can move it around, change the angle, etc. And then I'm going to be upgrading to Switcher Studio, an app that allows you to hook up to 9 different iOS devices and allows you to switch and put lower thirds and other fancy things in, as if it's a professional studio.
Very nice.
And I'm excited for that. So there you go. We've got some cardinal rules that we went over, some software platforms that you can test out outside of Zoom. What's really funny and interesting to me, curious to me, is the brand name that owned it for a while has not been mentioned, not even a single time in the last 2 weeks that I've experienced. The brand that should be owning this right now is the brand name that has been or still is synonymous with video conferencing, video calls. It is Skype. Where is Skype in all this? It's Zoom made the news by giving all universities free access to their platform. How come Skype hasn't done that? How come Skype has not done any PR to acquire customers or get people on their platforms? It's very curious to me that they're so quiet and not doing anything. I haven't heard anything. Have you heard the word Skype in the last 2 weeks? I've heard Zoom about 1 million times, right?
Yeah, I haven't heard Skype once. Unless to say, where are they?
Where are they? So anyway, we'll just recap. We tried Talkie.io, which actually was decent, DJ. What do you think? From a scale of 1 to 10, if 10 is Zoom, where would you put Talkie.io? TALKY.io. Where would you put that, DJ?
6.
6. Oh, that's a decent number.
Halfway there.
What about Jitsi? This platform we're using right now, Jitsi, JITSI.org. Where would you put this? Higher or lower?
Oh, that's pretty high. It is 8.
8. And then what about Scilabs? The other platform that we tried today, Scilabs.
Oh, wow, 7. So 6, 7, and 8.
Okay, and then the last one is 8x8, 8x8.vc, 8x8, 8x8.vc.
Yeah, I think that's running on a back server, so it's underpowered.
I give that a 0. It was very glitchy. Don't even try it. It's not worth your time. But the others you should try. And the other one that I do want to try with you guys later or tomorrow is a platform called Eyes On. Have you heard of that one?
I think it was mentioned in the Church Online roundup.
It touts that it's video calls with no downloads, no lags, no hassles.
Yeah.
But it is paid. It is not free. That's the holy grail that DJ and I are looking for. So it's universal to everybody. But it is a paid app. I do have a an account on there. We'll try it next time. But as for completely free, open access, no accounts, registration required, these are all the platforms that have been useful. And then, Ring Central. I'll have to try that because you said that has no download either.
Have we tried the start live stream feature on this thing yet?
It allows you to live stream, but you need to put in your own live stream key, which I don't have one. I don't know if you do.
You get one when you start one.
Yeah. If we go to YouTube and we start a live stream, it will give us a key on the start page.
Right.
So why don't we try that next if anyone wants to try that. But for now, we're gonna sign off for this one. I'm gonna hit stop recording and we'll see what happens, and we'll check you out on the next episode here. Kenny Jang, DJ Chuang, and Jennifer Miles out.
Bye.